She's just cleaning herself. Hi. Hi, everyone. One moment. Just fiddling with some bits. I swear I've got like a billion settings now. There we go. Anyway, hi. So good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a nice day today. Welcome to your Thursday. This week is going very, very quickly, I'll tell you that. But yeah, how you all doing? Messi says Soviet smells. That's very rude indeed. Don't know yet, Yavi. Bear with me. Don't know yet. Hey, darling. So this morning we wandered off on the W word. We wandered out, and on the tail end of the W word, we popped into the pet shop, which is basically like a candy shop for a dog. Yeah. Like a sweet shop. And so she got to wander around and smell all the smells and look at all the treats and stuff. I bought her a bag of treats. Yeah. So on the way back, she bumped into like a sausage dog, a really small sausage dog, and she played like crazy. She ran around and exhausted herself playing with this tiny, tiny puppy. You right, sausage? Yeah. Oops, sorry. Just getting a Steam message. Hang on a second. Hang on. Right. So, yes. What's going on this week then? Sorry, I've attached the camera to the desk, so it might wobble around a bit whenever I put my arms on it. The reason for that is that I had to put the camera on a stand so I could record the screen for the last bullshittery, you know, Rising Storm with the little pieces of paper, which are next to me on the desk, actually. A slight confession. These pieces of paper that I created when I... hang on. So these pieces of paper that I've got here are not actually the original... Well, they wouldn't be, would they? Because you saw me creating them. These aren't the original marking ones. So these aren't the original pieces of paper. I just made, I remade a batch of them for the sake of illustration to try and demonstrate exactly what I was doing. In fact, the original squares have mostly been destroyed. They were destroyed because I accidentally got them wet when I spilt some water on the desk, and they disintegrated because they weren't made of any decent cardboard. They were just thin pieces of paper with pencil chicken scratch handwriting on them. I know, Sean, I know. Liar, liar, pants on fire. And yes, it was water. Fuck you. I spilt a pint of water. I sometimes do that. So, yeah. So I put the camera on a stand and I pointed at the screen and the desk as well, and I just chopped up a few bits of card to demonstrate exactly how they work. I've yet to go round to properly annotating them with individual markings to show, like, quickly, like 20 meters, 30 meters or whatever. But honestly, I don't think I need them. I've been using them a little bit, and I can just quickly figure it out in my head. So yeah. Yes, I've tried small, but I promise you it doesn't matter how old you get, you will end up spilling water or trying to drink something and just end up spilling it down yourself, or trying to take a piss at 3 in the morning and missing the basin, and instead the stream will go directly into one of your Wellington boots, which are both left and right of the toilet cistern, because you have no fucking room in your bathroom, so they have to go somewhere. So before you know it, you're, without realising, you've spent several seconds filling up one of your wellies with piss. And then you have to clean it. So, yeah, that goes in the bath, the soak. Because your sink is too small for any of that. Why, thank you, YT. And welcome indeed, YT. Also, I don't know why... Yeah, you've got a shot of Lulu's ear. Ah, dear. No, I'm not joking, Laxky. Yes, I have accidentally sleepily peed in one of my wellies. Ah, dear. So yes, sorry, what was I saying? So this morning, I'm not entirely sure what I'm up to. I'm tempted to just do a brief check-in and then maybe go and get on with the next bullshittery work. I've got quite a bit to do because I'm working on Divinity, but as I mentioned in an update that I put out, I want to do more planning to avoid planning, or what's the expression? Do more planning to to plan more, or whatever it is. Basically, I need to go through more of the live streams all the way into Chapter 2 and figure out exactly which scenes I need, because there's a lot of stuff going on in Divinity and not all of it is very relevant and not all of it is funny. So I've got to do a lot more pre-production for this one, I think. So yeah, I'm working through the live streams one by one. Yeah, more strategic. Yeah, I suppose more strategic. Nervous. So one of the things, when I edit the bullshitteries, you can tell, I've spoken about this a million times, but even if I didn't, you can tell, I cut the highlights without context from their original streams, don't I? This is why you sometimes see, or often see, footage that is quite old. It's not being placed in a linear, it's not being ordered by time, it's being ordered by how funny I find it. So sometimes you can have clips that are rattled around for quite some time. In that Rising Storm bullshittery, that was what, part 3? There's clips from like the first few games of Rising Storm in there, simply because that's where they kind of fit. You can tell the transition because the font changes. They updated the font. You right, sausage? You okay? Hang on, let me just zoom out so you don't have like a... You right, sausage? Oh, sorry, just getting Steam messages. Bear with me. Social sending me a game link. As in to something that I've not played. So, yeah, so what was I saying? So, what I've got to do with Divinity is I've got to... so, I've got to cut things linearly, which is something I don't typically do. Which is a bit of a... I've got to rethink the way I'm doing it, you see. Yeah. So I've got to go ahead and then make notes and then determine from those notes the path that's the best to walk, effectively. Do I need to show a side quest, for example, if only something slightly funny happened on that side quest? You get what I'm saying? Thank you, Point Break, and TW Closing Time. Thank you. Yeah, she's tired. She had a good run round with that sausage dog. Hi there, Chinny. I hope you're okay. Hope you're feeling better, sir. And Messi, I hope you're also okay, along with Percy. So I'll zoom out a little bit more. There you go. Oh, okay. It doesn't actually pan down any further. MSG is banned in the UK? I couldn't tell you, I'm afraid. I don't know much about MSG. Hi there, Jackson in the States. I hope you're okay. No, I've not tried it, Steph. Not tried it indeed. Yeah, what did I do with that bag of treats? It's on the other side of the room. How are the ants doing? I can switch over to their camera momentarily, if you wish. I know that the ants that are in the ant farm are proving to be quite elusive because they've managed to hide themselves in one of the chambers that doesn't have easy access for the camera. And as for the other queen, the one in the test tube, she's hatched 4 workers, and that's pretty good. They're gradually coming through. Absolutely beautiful, Pock, but if you'll forgive me, I don't want to talk about it because Outer Wilds does seem to be the type of game where simply explaining its concept spoils it. So all I can say is that it was absolutely wonderful. Really, really wonderful. I don't think since Final Fantasy X have I been left afterwards with just a sort of strong sense of, I suppose, melancholy, like a beautiful melancholy. Thank you, Zolty. Thank you very much, Zolty. All the time, Bluefire, whenever she sees them out the window. R3 bound. If you'll forgive me, I don't think Elden Ring is my type of game, sorry. I did try, in my defense, I did try Dark Souls, but again, I think I more found that it's not really for me. It's a type of game where the mystery is quite... it's more like a mythos, isn't it? It's like a thing that you tease out in small amounts, but it doesn't really reward you for analytically thinking through. And also, it's a game that revolves around tests of reflex, and I don't find tests of reflex games very interesting. I prefer to be immersed in a setting rather than memorize these combinations, replay the combinations correctly, move on. In fact, if you'll forgive me, sorry, minor, I don't even know if it's a rant, because it's not like me being... No, I'm just going to say it. I was going through Dark Souls' wiki page, and even that, for example, just frustrated me, because every time I would read about it, like I was watching Tom. I think, yeah, it was Tom was fighting a boss, and I was like, who is this boss? Why is he fighting them? And then I go to their wiki page, and I find very little. There's very little context. It's just explanation of the boss's mechanics. And I feel like it's missing the point. Like, in fact, I even did some, like, I went down a small Reddit rabbit hole, and a guy was complaining, I think perhaps sharing my frustrations that, you know, he's saying he doesn't have a reason to fight this thing, this guy over here. He was like, why am I fighting this? I've got no beef with this person. They're not even in my way. It's kind of like you draw your own conclusions. I was trying to, 53. If you watch the Dark Souls live stream that I was doing, the few of them, I was trying to sort of understand what this was and why this was here, but yeah, I don't think it's for me. I think it's a game that that is all about tests of reflex and mechanics over substance. It's the polar opposite. So a game that would be for me, that is exactly, I suppose it is the polar opposite, would be something like Morrowind, whose mechanics are awful, but its world is just dripping with just creativity and soul. As in, you go through the whole thing, flipping over rocks and finding explanations for everything. Why are the I don't know, the Ashlanders hostile? What's happened? What's their history? And it's all pouring out from the books. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. And you can just go down huge rabbit holes. Before you know it, you've lost hours into Morrowind's lore. But the mechanics are terrible. Hi there, Ketty. Hi there indeed. I hope you're okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, I remember them from a long time ago. No, I haven't, Ifrit. I've not played Obra Dinn. Yes, sorry. Let me just mute Steam. Sorry about that, folks. Hang on. Hang on. Where is it? Here it is. Ah, dearie me. But yeah, anyway, sorry for the people just passing through. I'm mostly just checking in this morning. Yeah, probably going to go get on with editing fairly soon. But I'm okay, the dog's okay. I'm currently basking in the afterglow of a particularly excellent game called The Outer Wilds that I just finished the day before yesterday, and it was incredible. Thank you, Chivalry. Thank you very much, Chivalry. Look at that. You're right. I think she's begging for treats. Should I get some treats? 1 minute. You want some treats? Whoops. What's this? What's that? Fish? 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 No? Not bothered? I'll just pop it there. She can decide if she wants it. Dear me. Thank you, Nicome. Or Nakomi? OW? Thank you very much. Thank you. What's my real job, Motor? I'm a YouTuber, so I do live streaming on the side, but most of my hours are spent trying to put together the YouTube videos, which each take collectively around 20 to 25 days per edit, on average. So that's a good 4 to 5 weeks per video. So it's, yeah, it's quite, it's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. But I took a week off after the last one, and I'm feeling much more refreshed. So I'm going into the next project, trying to plan it properly. No, not really, Welterman. I know you're probably just kidding, but no, you can tell. Clearly you can tell. The live streamers on this site are continually streaming for vast amounts of time, aren't they? Playing the latest games and doing the latest gimmicks. And here I am. I turn up for 2 hours or less and then bog off. Thank you, Dodgson. Thank you very much. Welcome then, Real Giraffe. Welcome. Thank you for saying so. Yes, I hopefully I can make the next one good. I'm just I haven't done any cutting. I've told myself no cutting, none. Don't do any cutting. I'm just doing note taking. So I'm going through the live streams for Divinity, trying to find exactly what I need and where. And then when I've got like a good mental map, that's when I'm going to start cutting. 53DD, it's a bit of an expansive point, so I won't go down the full rabbit hole, but effectively I don't feel that's what YouTube is for. I know that what YouTube is for has changed over the years. Oh no. That's the fire alarm. Please forgive me, I've got to get my shoes on, get her in a harness, and get out the building and make sure it's a false alarm. Be with you momentarily. Hey yo, all's fine, it was a false alarm. Just went into the lobby of the building and met other quizzical people, finding out who accidentally set off the building's wide... the building wide... I think we're gonna die. Right, honey. Hello. Yeah. Hello. 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 She's fine. It's probably going to go off a couple more times, I imagine. Right. Sorry, for the people just joining. Yeah, I just had to bounce out into the lobby for the sake of the fire alarm. Someone just set it off and said that it's going to go off a couple more times, apparently. Yeah, sorry, what were we talking about? People are yelling. Oh yeah, sorry. On the YouTube front, as in why I don't upload the VODs to YouTube. I don't feel that's what YouTube is for. What YouTube is for has changed over the years, and I don't necessarily agree with its current form, but I don't think it's a it's a data dump for large mass amounts of unedited footage. Thank you, Unlucky Live. Thank you very much, Unlucky Live. And again, no one wants to defend a company like Google because it's not the trendy thing, but data hosting is stupid expensive. I can tell you that because I've set up that private website below to host the VODs on my own coin because it's just so fucking expensive. And what, streamers are just going to dump that all onto YouTube and say it's your problem? And then everyone's going to raise their eyebrows surprised when YouTube gets ever more aggressive with its advertising policy to fund the vast expense that is hosting that much data. It's like 6 gigs per stream, and I only do 2-hour short streams, so yeah, it's huge amounts of data. Huge. Anyway. Social did a binding poll. Oh, really? You're going to play Obra Dinn. Binding to you, I presume, Social. Social, more importantly, how's your wife? If you don't, you're welcome to not respond if it's private. Is she feeling okay? To me? No, you can't bind me with a poll. That's not how this works, Social. Thank you, Insane. Thank you. If anything, do you know what I did, Insane? Looking back again, not wishing to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't done it. But I think that I was reading too much into lots of the things in Outer Wilds, as I'm sure the chat was well aware, frustrated by, I imagine. But yeah, every time it told me something, I never took it on face value, did I? The game would say this, and I'd be like, oh, what does this mean? But no, it turns out the game just means this. Yeah, exactly that. I was continually looking around. I was trying to feel my way around the edges to find, like, I didn't believe what I was hearing, is what I'm saying. I was too suspicious when I should have just been like, ah. Yeah, I was trying to read between the lines, but there was nothing to read. The sentence was true. Sorry, I'm putting. I've got my arms on the desk, Ponk. Sorry. Social says wife is sore but home soon. Good. Test came back negative on all counts. Oh. Is she gonna be okay? Social. Okay. Well, all the best to her, Social. I hope she's a-okay. As are you. Yes, alas, poor Yuri. Yes, indeed. Yeah, basically, Mary. Basically. Which is why, when I rewatch... I was sleepy, like, rewatching the final VOD for Outer Wilds, and it's why I think it only sort of clicked into place when I had all the pieces. In fact, you actually heard me say it. I went, that's it? Because I expected there to be more pieces. I was sort of like going, wait, but... these are all I've got all the pieces, and then I was like, oh, okay, that's the story. Like, the story ended, and it took me some time to catch up to that point. Not that I'm critiquing it, it was great, but my point is I was too suspicious. I was too suspicious that I was being lied to. Motor, sorry, no, I sort of, like a few years ago, I played Armour with them. They were one of the regulars in the Armour sessions that we played with, were they called Nopril? I can't remember. It was many years ago. I think, I don't know the history. I think they turned into, fuck, what were they called? My brain, not Zero Fucks, we're Zero Fucks. They were called something else. Fuck knows, that was it. So yes, but like many years ago and only vaguely. Are they still around? Duckslayer? Do you know? I know. I don't know, Prince. I don't know. Maybe it's just me anticipating a twist in storytelling in general. Like, I don't necessarily trust the written word in front of me. It's like, what does this mean? How would I recommend someone getting into large multiplayer armor games? I don't know, I'm afraid, Northern. Although I do know that there's a subreddit where you can find like a platoon or something, but I don't know how that works or if it's too militant. I know that Cake's had some trouble with Milsim guys. Yeah, I could do with a coffee as well. Shall I show you the ants? Would you like to see the ants? Hang on. Sorry. It's okay. It's alright. It's okay. It's alright. I know. It's okay. It's okay. I know. I know. It's okay. It's okay. I know. Yeah? Okay. Right. Pop me on my lap for now, but... Okay. She's just a bit nervous, I think. Or excited, or both. Is that a strange alarm? Okay. Sorry, I'm nervously like sniffing the air. I've noticed it's kind of like, is the building really on fire? Because the guy said he was just testing the alarm, but it's like, yeah. Yes, you do have big radar ears, don't you? 7. Good, yeah. She flew. Hang on, just put a biscuit for her. Biscuit? No. Oh, she knows that I've got the nice treats because we've gone to the pet shop. So she's like, oh, there we go. Good girl. Your mouth is too small. You're too inbred. That's your problem. There we go. I do worry about that, Alassian, yeah. Okay, hang on. Oops, shit. Yeah, let me just switch over to the ant cam, see what they're doing. Bear with me. So, yeah, so for those who are perhaps not interested or maybe eating, now might be a good time to disembark. But I'm about to switch over to a microscope, which is pointing at a test tube. And in that test tube is some cotton wool, so some clean cotton wool, holding back some water, and on the cotton wool, to the point that they can drink from the water held back, are some ants. A queen ant. In this case, Queen Deborah. So her name is Queen Deborah, and she has 4 hatchlings. Here we go. Or hatched larvae. Hang on. So that's the sock that's covering them. So let me lift up the sock. Here we go. Is it in focus? Yeah, we're looking good. So the white threads are just cotton that they've moved around. So how many she got there? So that's the queen ant in her test tube. Oh, Lulu's at the base of the table that they're sitting on. She's scratching, so they're wobbling. So she's got 4 now. She's got 4 ants. 4 daughter workers, all sterile. So she's in a space that's only, say, 3 or 4 centimeters wide. So it's to replicate the nuptial flight. So when they take flight, they'll fly off and then they'll land. And then they'll dig a small chamber. So it's to replicate the post-nuptial flight hidey hole that they create. So she's fine with staying there. She's got access to the air. She's got nice fresh water. At her feet is a big pile of eggs, which she's nurturing. No tourists. These are, so black garden ants, Lasius niger, as far as I know. They match all the markings for them. and her name is Queen Deborah. So they're quite busy little things. What they're doing is they're picking up each individual egg and they're cleaning them. They're making sure that there's not a single speck of dirt, coating them in anti-sort of bacterial, I think, saliva, and then placing it back onto the pile. All of the eggs are coated in these fine hairs which let them stick together, so in an emergency the ants can pick them up and drag them off in big clumps. Yeah. Their legs let them walk on most surfaces, including glass, so they're quite happy being upside down all over the place. How do you get the ants? So fairly soon, some 14-year-old dude, come summer, there's going to be the nuptial flight, which is the day where all of the queen ants are flying around in the air. The whole air is thick with them. You've probably seen it many times. It's that annoying day where insects are everywhere. Those insects are queens. All you have to do is get a test tube, just pop one straight in the test tube. Just put the end of it on the ground next to it, and just let it crawl straight in. So, since this hobby takes pennies, all you need are some test tubes, some cotton wool and some distilled water. I do recommend perhaps getting some ready in preparation for summer. Then get like 5 or 6 individual queens, just release the ones that you don't want, and just keep the ones that are making workers, and you can have your own little private test tube, like nest. Yeah, basically. I abducted a bunch of queen ants from the car park outside, where I could spot them easily on the tarmac. Yeah, I'm okay, Silver. It's not really like it's just like a minor fascination. Ooh, look. The ant is moving that egg back to the pile. But yeah, it's just quite interesting. Anyway, so what I did, 1 minute. So I started off with a queen ant called Queen Millicent in this test tube type setup here. And she managed to get, I think it was around 6 workers, at which point I should have left her alone. But one of the workers accidentally escaped, and when it escaped, I had to pick it up with a piece of tissue, and I couldn't get it back into the test tube without alarming the queen. I was trying to keep them calm. So instead, I popped them into an ant farm, which looks like this. So it's like a flat-packed plastic, plastic mould with a cork insert that's been pre-cut, and I filled that cork insert with a whole bunch of sand. And if I just do this, so to the bottom left there, where it says where I connected the test tube, in order to save the worker, I basically put it in the ant farm and then connected up the test tube way too early. So that was a bit annoying. So it meant that I had a queen that was in an ant's nest that was an ant farm that was way too big. So she just sort of curled up. She dug a first chamber and stayed there and didn't move. But it's become more interesting over the last few weeks because now she's getting quite a few workers. She's got at least 30, maybe even 40, and their numbers are building quite well. They're doing quite well. So she's dug multiple additional chambers, a hidden chamber and then a tunnel. They're all currently moving between the hidden chamber or the next tunnel. So what I could do, if you like, is try to move the camera to see if we can see inside the ant farm to see what they're doing. Shall I do that? Thank you, sorry, Arig Blue. Thank you, Arig Blue. No, says Jonah. Alright. Bear with me just 1 minute. I'll try and move the camera. So I'm gonna put it to the top of the frame, pointing at the next tunnel to see what we can see. Okay, so switching over to the camera, so it's got a red plastic cover on it to just reduce the amount of light getting in. So we're looking from the top down, so from the upper side of the image, straight down from northeast to southwest towards the next tunnel. So let me pull back the cover and see what we can see. a bit dark. What's that there? Let me just turn up the light. Is it out of focus? A little bit. It's quite difficult to get an angle on them. So I see some of the ants clumped together. I think they're all sort of huddled on the ceiling. Let me just pan out a bit. What are they up to? They're all sort of threaded. They're all sort of moving. Oh, is that the queen herself? I think that's the queen herself. The large abdomen that you see in the middle of the frame. Yeah, she's backing up. There we go. Can you see her? It's quite hard to spot compared to the test tube, isn't it? I just wish they didn't have so much sand on the damn roof. What's she facing? What's in front of her? What's down the tunnel? Are they the eggs? I think they are. Just mixed in amongst the sand grains towards the end. I see. They've moved the eggs as far as they can away from the entrance. Lots of them all packed up there. Have they extended the tunnel? One second. Are they still digging? Are they being sneaky about it? Sort of. They've made a sort of starting tunnel. Okay. Well, that could make things easier for me because that's actually what. There's another sort of plug. Hang on. Does it show on the picture? Hang on. Sort of. Can you see that to the very top of the frame? That little. Yeah. So at the very top in the middle is another one of the plastic plugs. So if they can get to that one, that would be very useful, because then I can open the plug and say put in water if I need to. Ah. Okay, hang on, let me just pan back. Yeah, it's a bit frustrating because, as you can see, they're quite well concealed right now. They've got that huge sand-covered roof. I rather hope that as the colony gets bigger, they'll start clearing away more room, and then we can see what's going on. So because the sand was wet and quite compacted, it's just staying there. But yeah. Flood them, they gross. Yeah, but they're also kind of fascinating. So I've also noticed that they're walking quite a lot on the surface, on the glass, as opposed to the ground. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they just find it easier to walk on the glass than they do on the sand. If that's true, then that would be good, because hopefully they'll clear away more of the sand, and then we can actually see them moving about. Yeah. Indeed, that does seem to be the case, Night Elf. They can't be trusted with honey. They keep drowning themselves. So the queen is clearly in the middle. That's her shiny abdomen. And just to the south of her, she's got numerous workers that are guarding the eggs. But yeah, the visibility isn't great, is it? So in 6 months, when the ants inevitably escape, should you tell Womble's neighbours he's responsible for the ant infestation? I'd rather you didn't. But also, I mean, where are they going to escape to? It's not as if... Yeah, where are they going to go? In my sock drawer? I shouldn't say that, I've just tempted fate. Thank you, Green Bear. Thank you very much, Green Bear. Let me try and zoom in. What are they up to down there? see them clearly? It's very hard to get the ones on the ceiling in focus, in the same focus as the ones on the floor. So what are those two doing? Yeah, they're just moving to and from, trying to guard the eggs at the minute. Probably investigating the light. They're like, what the fuck? So yeah, for those joining the stream, I'm just milling around and chatting before I get on with the editing today. I won't keep you too long. I've got lots to do. I need to keep going through the footage that I've recorded in order to plan the next bullshittery. I'm going to do more planning, figure out what I need and where. But yeah, if you're looking, well, if you just fancy the curiosity, everyone, test tubes, water, cotton wool, very, very, very easy to get into. All you have to do is wait until summer, wait until like June, well, wait, probably more like August to be honest, whenever the nuptial flight is. I don't know, Taz, I don't know. Yes, Sigilite, pretty much every other person in the chat is currently asking. I don't know. Is that the queen at the top of the frame? It is, isn't it? What's she doing? She was standing pretty much where we're looking now, wasn't she? There's loads of them now, though. Holy shit. Hi there, Pebble. It's a microscope camera into an ant farm. There's the queen. Look at her at the top of the frame. Her head is the size of an entire worker. Let me pan up, see if I can get a better shot of her. That's one of her legs. Oh, yeah, we can see her. So to the right side of the frame, hidden by the sand, is her head. In the near middle of the frame is her thorax, so her shoulders. And then to the very top of the frame, out of focus, is her abdomen. So the huge egg-laying organ that she's pulling around. No doubt behind her will be numerous workers that are tending to her, cleaning her, and preparing to remove the next egg. Why did I go with a horizontal ant farm? It's a starting ant farm, Gregos. So, when they get bigger, maybe I'll go with the horizontal one. Thank you, Mad John. Hi there, Mad John. Hope you're having a nice day today. Thank you very much for your kindness. And Green Bear, Zero, The Clone, Skillian, Room, Captain Warface, and Rambos. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for your kindness, folks. You figured the queen would not move after they become a monstrous egg machine? Indeed. Well, she does stay in the chamber. She'll never go back to the surface. Well, in a regular ant farm, she'll just stay subterranean for the rest of her life. But she'll stay isolated in numerous underground chambers, whichever is more favourable for her, surrounded by younger workers. The younger ones stay near her, and then as they get older, as far as I know, they start to navigate closer and closer to the surface until eventually, when they're the older ones, they'll go foraging for food. Presumably so that casualties won't be among the very young. And foraging ants will indeed suffer casualties. Thank you, Aladazor. Thank you very much, Aladazor. How do you move them into a bigger container? So you hook them, so yeah, moving them may become necessary, but you just have them move themselves. You would hook them up to the container and then simply leave the one that you want them to leave in the daylight. Leave it in the light and cover the other one. And eventually they'll figure out, oh dear, we've been exposed, and they'll start moving the nest. Another way to coax them would be to make the nest warmer. They'll move to where it's warm. And as I was doing with the test tube, I was making the place that I wanted them to leave colder by placing soapstones, whiskey stones that had been in the freezer. I would place them near the test tube to gradually reduce its temperature. And so they'd be like, oh, that's a bit too cold. And they started moving. So they'll move themselves. They will predictably move to favourable conditions that are nice, warm, wet, and not full of whiskey stones. Yeah, there's not really much. I just wish the visibility was better. You can't really see much beyond just the odd limb. Yeah. Ah, dear. Sorry, for the people just joining, it's a microscope camera that's pointed in a chamber of an ant farm, pointed directly at the queen, but it's very hard to see anything, what with all the sand, sorry. Again, I'm hoping they clear it away as they start to get more numerous. No, I've never tried 3D printing, Cool Zombie. Put a magnet inside, drag the magnet around to clean it. Could do. I might stress them the fuck out though. I wonder, maybe if I moved it extremely slowly, like a centimetre a day. That's not a bad idea, actually. Now that I think about it, I wonder. I'm pretty sure I do have like I've got like a magnet toy thing. Like little metal balls and a magnetic. Something very small that won't scare the shit out of them. Thank you, Sheep Gamer. Thank you very much, Sheep. Don't do it, the sand will scratch the glass. Oh yeah. Maybe if I just do it very, very slowly. Oh yeah, check that as well. Make sure magnets don't fuck them up. Don't think so. You never know. Hi there, Zam Rabbit. I hope you're very well. Yeah, maybe you're right, Luke. Maybe just wait for them to do it themselves. Or I'll do a test on an empty chamber. So there are areas that are currently empty. But yeah. Thank you, Captain Sheepgood. Thank you very much, Captain. So what else is going on? Not much really. Just cracking on, trying to get this edit done. Yeah, the dog's fine. She's just flopped behind me now, resting. I got some, what is it? Got some like turkey with white wine sauce that I bought from a deli. So I'm gonna get some rice later and have that for din-dins. Yeah. Oh, good to hear it, Game Dev Alien. Best of luck. Yeah, hope it goes well. Oh, Dinklebean's here. Hi there, Dinkle. Hope you're okay. Dinkle, sorry to sound like a broken record, sir. Definitely play Outer Wilds if you haven't already. It's incredible. Trouble is, I can't, unless you've seen me play the VOD, I can't talk about it because even talking about it is spoiling it. Just know that it's incredible, like Portal tier incredible. Carbon-based life forms, Dr. Pal, is the one that I typically listen to when I play Kerbal. Yeah, by all means, Game Dev Alien. Feel free, send it over, I can have a look. And best of luck with your editing. Thank you, Joic Wright. Thank you very much, Joic. We should play DayZ again. Yeah, when people are in the mood for it. Yeah. Next time people fancy server, I'm sure I'll dive in. So yeah. Just through Twitch, game dev. By all means. What's that worker doing on the ceiling? Just cleaning itself, I think. That's a big one. Oh yeah, shit, forgot about that, Gino. Didn't we say that we were going to do it again this week? Hi there, Harry. ZF Harry is in the chat. Hope you're very well, Harry. Thank you for Rising Storm yesterday. That was good fun. Harry just woke up. Indeed. If anything, Duckslayer, I think the Portal comparison, not comparison, but if we just tell people that Outer Wilds is like Portal tier when it comes to games that you really want to play. Because I think it was. I think it is. Right. Okay. I'll probably... What's the time now? I know it's quite a bit of a short stream, I'm afraid, but yeah, I probably should wrap up now and go and get on with the editing, because I do have quite a bit to do today. Yeah. So yeah, I hope everyone's having a nice morning. Sorry for the non-starter when it comes to game to play. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go get a coffee, and I'm gonna open up Adobe Premiere, and I'm gonna start going through the footage. Well, continue going through the footage as I've been doing since Tuesday for Divinity. So I need to go through and plan as best I can, and we'll be doing that for the rest of the day before I do any cutting at all. So yeah, that's the plan. So plan a future Divinity bullshittery is the objective this week. Right. Okay. So. Let me have a look and see what the other guys are doing. Is anyone doing something that might be interesting for you to watch? More interesting than a bunch of ants sitting around doing nothing but eat all my food? Bastards. After playing Outer Wilds, I gave the ants a marshmallow yesterday. So they had a marshmallow. Okay. So, Edberg is doing some Elden Ring, and ZF Sheep is doing Dawn of War. Interesting. Hang on. Yeah, in which case, let me hand you over to Sheep then. So, he's doing a bit of the excellent Dawn of War, one of the finest... so, which one is it? Sorry. Not sure which one it is, but it's certainly one of the finest RTS games ever made, frankly, by Relic before they turned shit. Right. So... Thank you for watching, folks. Apologies once again. Have a lovely afternoon. This is ZF Sheep doing Dawn of War. Whoops. Did I type it properly? There we go. So yes, I hope to catch you later this evening. I'm going to go get on with the editing. Take care. Have a good one.